Okay, so the lesson for today is 5.3 synthetic division. This is day 2. It's after long division. And so like the setup for synthetic is kind of what gets to you. You have to draw a little upside down division symbol. We call this a house. Inside the house, we're going to use the coefficients of whatever we're dividing. In this case, the x squared, the 10, and the 2. But only the numbers coefficients are just the numbers of the 1, -10, and 2. Outside of the house, we call this a house because here we need a house number at the front. The house number comes from my divisor, whatever I'm dividing by, but we always have to change the sign. And there's a reason for that. But it has to do more as to when we solve, and we're going to look at that in a few more weeks. So I'm not going to stress too much about it. Just make sure we trust it. We change the sign. We call this the K value. We use the letter K for it. We also call it the house number because it's going to go outside of our little house number. So it goes right here. Now the steps are fairly easy. You just have to make sure you follow them. We used to use a BMA, MA for it. Bring down, multiply, add. Multiply, add is what that stands for. So we're going to bring down the first number on the inside. The one right here, we're going to bring it down. Bring down, that's what the B is for. Make sure you actually write on the outside because if not, you're going to mess up the steps. Like this is where most people mess it up. They draw the arrow and they don't write the correct number down, which I know it sounds silly, but trust me, I've seen it so many times. Now, that was the B. The M is to multiply. We always multiply with the K on the outside. So the number that I just wrote on the outside is what I'm going to multiply with the K. In this case, I'm going to multiply 1 times 2, and I get 2. Notice that now that I multiplied, my next step is A, which is to add. I am going to add on the inside. These two numbers right here are lined up, so I'm going to go ahead and add them. That gives me -8. I added, so now I am left with multiplying. We always multiply with the K on the outside, so these two numbers give me -16. And now I can add on the inside, and I get -14 just like that. Now to actually write out my answer, we're going to use the numbers backwards. Just like we did long division, the last number is your remainder. The one before that is the constant. And then we start adding x's, like this is x1. If I had more numbers, it'll be x2, x3, and so on. But this means my answer is 1x1 minus 8. And then my remainder goes on top of my divisor, whatever I divided by, which is x minus 2. And there's my answer. So let me do one more question with you. For question number 2, we're going to make it a little bit different. This is like the only way that we have a tricky question. And it's, if you look at the exponents, this exponent is 3, and then I have no x's. So I went from 3 to 0, and I skipped a few numbers. So we need to add the placeholders just like we did for long division. I have the exponent of 3. I'm missing the exponent of 2, but we're going to add it with a 0. I'm missing the exponent of 1, but we're going to add it with a 0. And then I have my constant without any x's. So these are going to be the numbers I use here for the inside of my house. Can you hold up for a little bit? Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and use these numbers right here for my inside. So it's going to be 2, 0, 0, -54. And then the house number, remember that's the K. The K is always the opposite because we changed the sign. So -3. Now, for my actual steps, I bring down the first number. I multiply with the K, which is -6. So bring down, multiply. Now I'm going to add on the inside, that's -6. Multiply with the K, that's +18. Add the 0 and the 18, that's 18. Multiply with the K, 18 times -3 is -54. And last, we add to get -108. So now we write the answer backwards. Remainder, constant, x1, x2. My full answer is 2x2 minus 6x1. My constant is positive 18 minus remainder on top, divisor on the bottom. Just like that.